Thank you for joining Wars of the Roses, and this is Indische Mysterien or Indian Mysteries from the Encyclopedia of Freemasonry by Albert G. Mackey. Indische Mysterien or Indian Mysteries. In the German Encyclopedia we find the following. The East Indians have still their mysteries, which it is very probable they received from the ancient Egyptians. These mysteries are in the possession of the Brahmans, and their ancestors were the ancient Brachmen. It is only the sons of these priests who are eligible to initiation. Had a grown-up youth of the Brachmen sufficiently hardened his body, learned to subdue his passions, and given the requisite proofs of his abilities at school, he must submit to an especial proof of his fortitude before he was admitted into the mysteries, which proofs were given in a cavern. A second cavern in the middle of a high hill contained the statues of nature, which were neither made of gold, nor of silver, nor of earth, nor of stone, but of a very hard material resembling wood, the composition of which was unknown to any mortal. These statues are said to have been given by God to his Son, to serve as models by which he might form all created beings. Upon the crown of one of these statues stood the likeness of Brahma, who was the same with them as Osiris was with the Egyptians. The inner part, and the entrance also into this cavern, was quite dark, and those who wished to enter into it were obliged to seek the way with a lighted torch. A door led into the inner part, on the opening of which the water that surrounded the border of the cavern broke loose. If the candidate for initiation was worthy, he opened the door quite easily, and a spring of the purest water flowed gently upon him and purified him. Those, on the contrary, who were guilty of any crime could not open the door, and if they were candid, they confessed their sins to the priest and besought him to turn away the anger of the gods by praying and fasting. In this cavern, on a certain day, the Brachmen held their annual assembly. Some of them dwelt constantly there, others came there only in the spring and harvest, conversed with each other upon the doctrines contained in their mysteries, contemplated the hieroglyphics upon the statues, and endeavored to decipher them. Those among the initiated who were in the lowest degrees, and who could not comprehend the sublime doctrines of one God, worshipped the sun and other inferior divinities. This was also the religion of the common people. The Brahmans, the present inhabitants of India, those pure descendants of the ancient Brachmen, do not admit any person into their mysteries without having first diligently inquired into his character and capabilities and duly proved his fortitude and prudence. No one could be initiated until he had attained a certain age, and before his initiation the novice had to prepare himself by prayer, fasting, and almsgiving and other good works for many days. When the appointed day arrived, he bathed himself and went to the Guru, or chief Brahman, who kept one of his own apartments ready in which to perform this ceremony. Before he was admitted, he was asked if he earnestly desired to be initiated, if it was not curiosity which induced him to do so, if he felt himself strong enough to perform the ceremonies which would be prescribed to him for the whole of his life without the exception of a single day. He was at the same time advised to defer the ceremony for a time if he had not sufficient confidence in his strength. If the youth continued firm in his resolution and showed a zealous disposition to enter into the paths of righteousness, the Guru addressed a charge to him upon the manner of living, to which he was about to pledge himself for the future. He threatened him with the punishment of heaven if he conducted himself wickedly, promised him, on the contrary, the most glorious rewards if he would constantly keep the path of righteousness. After this exhortation, and having received his pledge, the candidate was conducted to the prepared chamber, the door of which stood open, that all those who assembled might participate in the offering about to be made. Different fruits were thrown into the fire, while the high priest, with many ceremonies, prayed that God might be present with them in that sacred place. The Guru then conducted the youth behind a curtain, both having their heads covered, and then gently pronounced into his ear a word of 1 or 2 syllables, which he was as gently to repeat into the ear of the Guru, that no other person might hear it. In this word was the prayer which the initiated was to repeat as often as he could for the whole day, yet in the greatest stillness and without ever moving the lips. Neither durst he discover this sacred word unto any person. No European has ever been able to discover this word, so sacred is this secret to them. When the newly initiated has repeated this command several times, then the chief Brahmin instructs him in the ceremonies, teaches him several songs to the honor of God, and finally dismisses him with many exhortations to pursue a virtuous course of life. See Pitris. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment. And if you can, please consider donating to Wars of the Roses. Links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. Thank you so very much.